Welcome back to On the Rise, the latest Canadian men's national team news, and today was a very exciting day in the world of CanMNT football, as we saw 14 players in action and 7 of those players getting the start for their respective sides, as well having 4 players available off the bench and even 2 players who were unavailable for their clubs. But we're going to be breaking those all down, talking about the games and all of our players' performances, and we're going to go straight into it, as today there was no transfer rumors for any of our youngsters or national team players. Even though we have been so blessed and fortunate the past couple of days with transfer rumors, today there was unfortunately none. So we're going to go straight into the matches and the performances today and go into probably our most notable performance of the day, with Ike Ugbo once again in the championship for Cardiff City. As Cardiff City did fall 2-1 to Queen's Park Rangers today, they did have a shining light in their new hero and their new number 9 and our CanMNT star in Ike Ugbo. Ugbo went 84 minutes for Cardiff City today, but bagged another goal in the 78th minute. He is becoming a true cult hero now at Cardiff City. He has now had 2 goals in 2 starts and 1 assist. 3 goal contributions in 2 matches, getting 2 starts, and you could even say it's 3, having a winning penalty in the Carabao Cup just a few days ago midweek for Cardiff City as well over Colchester United. He's been absolutely brilliant so far with his time at Cardiff City. He has found his form, he has found his confidence, and he has found truly back. He's found his goal scoring nous again. And you can tell he is back to what he used to be. Yes, it's only 2 games. I know you can get a bit too excited from this. But scoring, like I said in that first game, after he scored at Ellen Road away, one of the biggest, probably the biggest stadium in the championship by far. And to do it away at Leeds United at Ellen Road gave him so much confidence. You saw him bring it to that penalty shootout where he just slotted it away, getting them that game-winning penalty shootout in the Carabao Cup. And he's continued that form once again. Although it might have been a consolation goal for Cardiff City today, where he did put it away. And even though he did put it away, it's another goal for him, taken very well. And that's 3 goal contributions now in 2 games, and arguably you could talk about that being 4 if you want to add in that penalty as well. But overall, Ike Ugbo is becoming right now our frontrunner to be our 3rd number 3 striker, behind the likes of Kyle Larin and of course Jonathan David. As well, we have Theo Bear in there. We have so many exciting options as a CanMNT striking pool right now for depth, arguably the best in the region. And if you want to look at Ike Ugbo's stats today, I did post them on Twitter, but as well, I'm going to run through them once again because he was brilliant. 84 minutes, going 7.3 match rating on FootMob, having a goal for 2 total shots, 13 for 16 accurate passes, an XG of 1.23, also having 1 big chance missed, having 26 touches, 1 pass into the final third, and defensively, even having 2 clearances, 1 headed clearance, and 2 recoveries. All around the pitch, Ike Ugbo was absolutely brilliant, and he has showed that by having his 3rd goal contribution in 2 starts for the club. But moving to Scotland now, where we look at Viktor Loturi, a midfielder who I think slots perfectly into a midfield 3 for Canada alongside Ismail Kone and Stefan Eustáquio, and Viktor Loturi had another good game, as his Ross County went against David Witherspoon's old side and Theo Bear's old side in St. Johnstone. As Ross County came away with a 2-0 victory, and this was a massive win for St. Johnstone, another win to keep marching on this season. They absolutely dominated this match, and they rightfully so should have won this game with so many chances, and they played very well. Of course, their first win in 2 games so far to kick off the SPFL, and it's a very exciting run for Ross County. But Viktor Loturi had a very good game once again, and the one thing I very much wonder with their manager, he doesn't really let Viktor Loturi go the full 90. I don't know if it's something in Viktor Loturi's stamina in the sports sciences. I trust their sciences. He went 72 minutes once again. Very rarely we've seen Viktor Loturi at Ross County go the full 90 minutes. And once again, he went only 72 minutes. I know you're managing a young player's fitness and everything like that, but I'm sure Viktor Loturi is fit enough to go a full 90 minutes. We've seen time and time again he has last season, but he needs to start consistently playing 90 minutes. And I don't know if there's a niggling injury from preseason. You never know. But he still had an incredible game once again. Still having a 7.1 rating. Arguably one of the better players for his side of the pitch, especially in the midfield. In the midfield, the ratings were 6.6, 6.5, and 8.1. Viktor Loturi was the only one in the midfield to have above 7 rating who didn't score, and defensively a absolute rock. 1 clearance, 1 headed clearance, an interception, 6 recoveries, 4 for 7 ground duels won, and 3 for 7 aerial duels won. Which aerially, that's impressive, because Viktor Loturi is not a guy who's up there and making himself a huge presence in the air and winning those balls. So Viktor Loturi had a very good game, a very tidy game defensively. And it's very exciting to see him continuing that very exciting form. And hopefully, maybe another great performance again for Ross County. Maybe he can earn himself a transfer before the end of the window. You never know. I definitely think this time come next year, we will be seeing him joining another club or already with another club. But it's very interesting that the fact that he very rarely plays a full 90 minutes. I don't know what the likes of McLean or Mackay are doing with his minutes. It's very interesting, and I don't know why he isn't playing a full 90. I'm really hoping it's down to a niggling injury and not something that is going to be a consistent factor in this game and is going to hold Viktor Loturi back, because I'd love to see him go a full 90, what he can do throughout the full match, and just to work his fitness levels. But you never know, maybe it's just a niggling injury in the background. But guys, we also saw a Canadian in a cup final, and of course, Alphonso Davies Bayern Munich took to the pitch with their new signing, Harry Kane. Harry Kane came on the 64th minute and brought over his Tottenham Hotspur's dusty trophy closet with him, because they fell 3-0 to RB Leipzig in the cup final, and Bayern didn't look like themselves. They couldn't get it going. They just couldn't get that winning goal, or they couldn't score the whole match. 13 chances, 5 big chances. They couldn't put their dinner away. 541 passes to 219. They dominated this game. Absolutely dominated this game. When you look at Red Bull Leipzig, who only had 3 big chances and scored all 3. It's just how a game can go. You put away your chances, you're crucial in front of goal, and that's how it can be. And I'm sure Harry Kane will start more games. He just came in this morning, had his first training session with the club, and he came on the 64th minute. But looking at this game, the shining light was clear. It was Alphonso Davies and Jamal Musiala. Alphonso Davies went the length. He played the full entire 90 minutes of this game, having a 7.2 match rating. 73 accurate passes out of 82. Had 1 chance created, had 114 touches, and he was very good. 4 for 5 successful dribbles, 15 passes into the final third. As well defensively, 2 clearances, 1 interception, and 8 recoveries, which is the Davies we know, and also earning 2 fouls. I don't think there's a lot to take out of a cup match. Sometimes cup matches can be glorified friendlies, especially at the start of the season, getting into the groove of things. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this new look Bayern Munich side is going to look with Harry Kane. I'm sure this is going to be very exciting to see Alphonso Davies bombing down the left flank, sending in balls to Harry Kane. Harry Kane also getting involved in the distribution. I'm not sure how he's going to look with Bayern Munich. We've seen for so many years how Harry Kane likes to drop off almost into a false 9 position and likes to play that link-up play. But that is also due to Tottenham's lack of a number 10 and lack of creativity up top, and he had to create for himself. So who knows how Harry Kane's going to exactly fit into this Bayern Munich side. He could just goal hang and wait for chances from his way, sit in the edge of the 6-yard box, and Davies could just bomb up, cut back those balls, and we could see a lot of assists from Alphonso Davies. Because right now, do they really have that out-and-out striker? They have Matthias Tell, who throughout 64 minutes when he came off for Harry Kane, had 6.4 match rating and didn't look absolutely convincing. I know he's still a very young player. He's a very good player as well, but I don't like resting a lot on a younger player as well. And you also have Choupo-Moting there as well. For me, Choupo, He's a good striker, he's a good Bundesliga striker, but he's nothing at the heights of a caliber of Lewandowski, Harry Kane. So I think with Harry Kane in the squad, we're going to see Alphonso Davies hit those heights again. It's just going to be interesting to see how Harry Kane's exactly going to fit into a Bayern Munich side where he's not having to drop off and create for himself all the time. And looking at a Canadian men's national team dual national, who we talked about midweek when he was involved in a Carabao Cup match against Ike Ugbo, and that was Owen Goodman. The 19-year-old English-Canadian dual national took the net for Colchester United today, where he finished the match and played absolutely incredible, the only shining light for Colchester as they fell to the likes of Bradford City 2-1. And Owen Goodman had a 7.8 rating, and he lost the game. I wasn't able to watch this game. I didn't see much of it. I was watching a lot of Premier League football today. I caught some of our players in the Dutch League, in the likes of the Austrian First Division and Swiss League, but I didn't see what Owen Goodman produced, but I did see his stats. What he produced here for stats-wise was absolutely remarkable on paper and looks like the only shining light from Colchester United's match today. Going 90 minutes, of course, for a goalkeeper, that's nothing to talk about. But stats-wise, 4 diving saves, 5 saves inside the box, 1 punch-out, 4 throws, 1 high claim, 10 recoveries, 52 touches, and faced an XG of 2.96 and had a total of 5 saves. So he kept a total of 1 goal. Over expected. That is incredible from Owen Goodman. Of course, he conceded 2, and they were really poor back line from Colchester United, as Bradford City managed an XG of 3.08, and there was 19 total shots. So Owen Goodman stood on his head this match. A young 19-year-old CanMNT dual national goalie. I'm not saying we should cap tie him just yet. Maybe we might have to talk about that very soon at the next window. I know we are playing Japan. Maybe if we get another game, but looking at his stats, he looks incredible. He had another good game. He played very well against the likes of Cardiff City midweek against Ike Ugbo, even though his side let him down in a penalty shootout. But it's just very exciting to see more dual nationals doing very well. And I just don't want to see a repeat of Luka Kolyosha's situation. If you get a guy like Owen Goodman playing like this kind of football, you bring him in and you cap tie him. I'm done with players. We should cap tie him. We don't call him up. We call him up next window. We don't play him, and then he turns into a great footballer. Look, you've seen it with Marcelo Flores. He never got the call up, but you've seen it. Stefan Mitrovic, we never gave him a call up. He's been kind of pretty decent. We still need a number 10, so I still would have taken him. We've had a lot of missed calls, and especially Luka Kolyosha. I don't want that to happen again. So if Owen Goodman starts to turn into an unbelievable goalkeeper, let's bring him in, because the more depth, the better. And we had another Canadian, of course, get a start. We had 7 of them, and Austria's first division saw Wolfsberger AC get a 1-1 draw at home to Austria Lustenau. And you saw, I probably butchered that name, I'm not going to lie, but Scott Kennedy was in action. And he had a brilliant match at the back. Having a 7.5 rating, for me, Scott Kennedy is one of, by far, Canada's best centre backs, the likes of Derek Cornelius. And what Scott Kennedy has been doing in the Austrian First Division has been nothing great of amazing. And he had another great game again. 7.5 match rating, playing very well, even getting a shot this match, but accurate passes, having 83 for 100. He was on the ball like crazy today. 121 touches, missed a big chance in front of goal as well. 17 passes into the final third, but defensively a unit. With a block shot, 5 clearances, 3 interceptions, and 10 recoveries, as well, winning 6 for 10 aerial duels and earned himself a foul. A great performance from Scott Kennedy, and he has been playing extremely well for his Wolfsberger AC side, where his side arguably should have won today, but they're having a very good season. Up there in 4th place right now on 5 points in 3 games, and they're up there with the big boys, the likes of Salzburg, Sturm Graz, even Austria Klagenfurt, who they played last week. They're up there, and they are playing very well, and Scott Kennedy is loving life in Austria with how he's playing, and he is going to be a player to continue to watch, because who knows, maybe a great year at the likes of Wolfsberger, he could earn himself a big move, and a lot of teams always watch and scout the Austrian First Division. And of course, we're staying with another player who got the start today, talking about all the players who earned starts before we move on to the bench players and substitutes. And we're in Switzerland, watching Grasshoppers, who took on Winterthur, and it was a 3-1 loss. There wasn't too much glory for a lot of Canadian players today, as there was a lot of losses, a lot of draws, and not too many victories for Canadian players today, if any, who were on the pitch. As well as seeing today a poor performance, which is very surprising, from Theo Corbeanu. But it wasn't just from him, it was kind of from his side in total, as Grasshoppers didn't really create much throughout the entire 90, only generating 7 shots and 1 big chance, which they did put away. Having 45% possession and 0.96 XG, Theo Corbeanu only went the likes of 84 minutes. Not going the full 90, but still going pretty well the distance and having a 6.6 match rating. It was a very dull match for Grasshoppers. They didn't play well. They didn't play up to how we've seen them playing lately this season. They've been very good this year, creating chances, upsetting sides, of course, as we saw them upset FC Basel earlier this year, sitting on 4 points this season so far in 4 matches. It's been a very up and down season for the likes of Grasshoppers. In this match against Winterthur, they weren't really able to create any chances away from home, of course. They're playing at Winterthur, and nothing was creating in front of goal. And it was the story for Theo Corbeanu as well. He just couldn't get anything going today, and it wasn't up to what we know he is best at doing. And it's very unfortunate, but he will move on. He'll have another better game. He's been playing very well. He had 3 assists in 3 matches previous to this, and he wasn't able to nab one this game. But he still had a good decent match, and he will improve and hopefully pick up another assist next match. And we had 2 other Canadians who actually had brilliant performances, although they lost and were starting as defenders. Corona Kielce fell today to Gornik Zabrze, and Gornik Zabrze, if you're a Canadian fan out there, you probably heard of him because that is where Jesus Jimenez came from, the TFC striker at one point, but they did beat Corona Kielce 1-0. As Dom Zator and Marcus Godinho took to the field and started the match, and were shining lights for likes of Corona Kielce today, having a 7.4 rating and a 7.7. Both of them picking up cards. The Canadians, we know, picking up cards as Canadian defenders is just something that suits us very well. And Dom Zator had a very good match at the heart of the back line. And he's really becoming a force in this Corona Kielce back line, and he is playing very well. For me, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to earn a transfer very soon. I'm not sure where he would go, but I would love to see Dominik Zator earn a move. But Poland has been doing him very well ever since he left the CPL. Corona Kielce fans seem to love him, and I don't see why he would really need to move unless a really bigger transfer came shouting. Maybe he wanted to move back home, come play in the MLS. But Dom Zator has been killing it for Corona Kielce. And same with Marcus Godinho. They've both been absolutely loving the life in Poland for their respective side, and they saved them from relegation last year. And this year, or this match at least, Dominik Zator had a very good game defensively. 2 blocks, 2 clearances, 2 interceptions, a headed clearance, 10 recoveries, and 9 for 12 aerial duels won. Dom Zator is an absolute force and a unit, and he showed it once again today. And a player who is kind of probably out of the Canadian men's national team picture unless we have a few injuries or unless he makes a move is Marcus Godinho. I think he's a lot older than this, but he's still only 26, and today he was by far the man of the match for Corona Kielce, having a 7.7 match rating for 90 minutes. A lot of Canadian fans might have forgotten about Marcus Godinho, but he made that move the same time Dom Zator did to join Corona Kielce, and he was a force today for Corona Kielce, winning 3 fouls, having 8 for 11 ground duels won, 3 for 4 aerial duels won, 4 for 5 tackles won, and defensively even more, a block, 2 clearances and headed clearances, 3 interceptions, and 9 recoveries. And even going forward, he still had 5 passes into the final third. Marcus Godinho is a player that really has been forgotten. And you look at our right back depth, it's very exciting. I'll probably forget someone here, but you have Alistair Johnston, you have Richie Larea, and you have Marcus Godinho. I'm trying to think who else is there. There's probably someone else. ZBG is still there. I know we still have depth there. And Marcus Godinho is probably third, fourth, maybe fifth if I'm forgetting someone, which I probably am. And he is still on that depth chart. Even Jaquil Marshall-Rutty's still available on that depth chart at right back, who can play literally everywhere. He's still ready to figure out where his best position is. But Marcus Godinho is on that depth chart. If we get an injury or two, he is still available. And at the age of 26, I still like him as an option. I think if he can really find his form and continue to be playing like that at County CanMNT, it could be a player that John Herdman takes a sneaky look at, because you can never know, and you can never have too much depth. That's why it's very exciting to still keep an eye on what Marcus Godinho is doing at County CanMNT, along with that fellow Canadian in Dom Zator. But moving to players who were substitute appearances, which of course have a little bit less to talk about, in Watford, who took a 0-0 draw at home to Plymouth Argyle, with Ismail Kone was starting off the bench today and available on the bench, and he came on the 56th minute and didn't really do too much, nothing too exciting, having a 6.4 match rating. Didn't really get involved in play a whole lot, having only 18 touches, 2 passes into the final third. And Ismail Kone needs to start getting himself into the starting lineup. This is why I wasn't too happy with them falling out in the Carabao Cup, because more matches the better for Ismail Kone. With a newish manager, Ismail at manager isn't really backing him as much as we saw last year, where Kone was starting quite a few matches. He was getting consistent playing time. Yes, coming on the 56th minute is still a great thing for Ismail Kone. I'm not going to complain about that. A young Canadian still playing at the top level in the championship, coming on and still making an impact. But I would love to see him playing consistently and starting and showing himself. Even if he got a loan to a championship club, I wouldn't complain. Or even if he got a loan to Udinese to play off the bench in the Serie A, that would be much better. Do I think Ismail Kone is going to move? I really don't. I think he's a great option off the bench for Watford, and they love him there, and I think he'll be staying. But it's just very unfortunate to not see him starting consistently every match, and hopefully, eventually, he will start to have a huge performance or two off the bench and really prove himself. And we actually had another CanMNT dual national, and he didn't take to the pitch today, but it's a guy who I want to talk about just really quickly note on him. Jamie Knight-Labelle was on the bench once again today. He was on the bench again for Bristol City midweek in the Carabao Cup, where I talked about him just a little bit there as well, but I had to talk about him here again. I mentioned midweek that it looks like he might become a consistent player now in the first team for Bristol City, and he looks like he is now a consistent member of that first team. Getting to be on the bench once again today, Jamie Knight-Labelle, the young 18-year-old Canadian-English dual national, has found himself available off the bench today again. The 18-year-old, this is a player, for example, I don't want to see a Luca Kolyosho situation with. This is a position of desperate need for Canada at center back, and Jamie Knight-Labelle is available. He's not playing, but he's consistently in the first team for Bristol City, which is speaking volumes in the championship. Yes, his side did pull another win away in a 1-0 victory at the Den in Millwall in the 94th minute. So it's a great performance. It's amazing to see a young Canadian dual national in the squad, in the first team for Bristol City at a very high level. So it'd be very interesting to see if he can start to pick up minutes. But just something to note that we have another Canadian dual national available in a position of need and not playing, but consistently with the first team. And it was a debut league performance for the legs of RCD Mallorca and Canadian men's national team star and Kyle Larin. Kyle Larin came off the bench in the 60th minute up top for Njai, and I know some people were unfortunately not happy with him starting, but you got to look at it from a certain perspective. He just joined the club. He was only there for one preseason match. He's going to be kind of filtered into the starting lineup and kind of worked back into things. And getting 30 minutes still, trying to be an impact. He didn't really do too much, but it's not too much to worry about. Kyle Larin coming off the bench and getting 30 minutes for his new club, it's only going to be more, and it's only going to get better. And when you got an option like Mariki and Njai to pick up top as well, eventually he's going to decide who his front two will be. They spent a lot of money in RCD Mallorca. They spent it on Kyle Larin. So eventually, I'm sure they're going to want to start Kyle Larin. and show what he's got, because there's a reason they spent that money. And a club that stature, when you spend that kind of money, you're gonna want to play those players you spend that sort of money on. So it's good. So no reason to worry with Kyle Larin on the bench. Just got to his new club, only there for one preseason game, so it's no need to cause a fuss. But Charles Andreas Brim, my GOAT, one of my favorite Canadian players. People follow Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, Zlatan. I follow Charles Andreas Brim and Theo Corbeanu, two exciting young Canadian attackers, and Charles Andreas Brim is a Eredivisie player now. Officially, he is an Eredivisie player. Getting to come on in the 85th minute for Sparta Rotterdam today, and his side took a 2-1 victory today. One of only two Canadian players who were actually involved in a victory. And Jamie Knight-Lavelle, who didn't even feature, and Charles Andreas Brim, who got 5 minutes on the pitch, got to try his stuff on the pitch. 5 minutes, he didn't get any chances. He didn't get to really show what he's got. But the fact that he came on the bench, the fact that he was available off the bench, he wasn't just unavailable, it wasn't a scratch. The fact that he was available and got 5 minutes when they were in the lead, it's huge. It shows that the manager backs him. It shows that he's going to be involved in the first squad. There's no need to worry about him getting late loaned in the window, in my opinion now. The fact that he was one of the players and one of the strikers off the bench for Sparta, it's very exciting, because I think it's going to confirm that he is a solid option for Sparta now, and he is an Eredivisie player. So I think if he does somehow get a loan, it'll be to another Eredivisie side. But for me, Sparta Rotterdam have basically planted Charles Andreas Brim at the club, and Charles Andreas Brim is now an Eredivisie player, getting 5 minutes or so with the likes of Sparta Rotterdam in their 2-1 victory. But also, two players I want to talk about quickly. If you were confused why Daniel Jebbison wasn't involved in Sheffield United's first match of the season, he was out with a bit of a hip injury, so that is why he wasn't available off the bench for Sheffield United in their 1-0 loss to Crystal Palace, as they did fall in their opening match of the season at Bramall Lane. But there was one other Canadian in the Premier League who we should have been seeing on the bench in some people's eyes. I expected this. I didn't think it would happen. And Tom McGill wasn't available for Brighton today on the bench. Of course, we saw Jason Steele take to the night for Brighton Hove Albion in their 4-1 victory over Luton Town, and their goalkeeper on the bench today was their latest signing in Verbruggen, who I knew would be who would be in net for them off the bench, available as the backup. And we do expect him to be starting over Jason Steele very soon. But I know a lot of people are upset Tom McGill is not starting. He needs to leave. He does need to leave. But he's also a very young, unexperienced goalkeeper. There was no way he was going to be ahead of Jason Steele. There was no way he was going to be ahead of Verbruggen. There was no way if Robert Sanchez stayed, he was going to be ahead of him. For me, he's the number 3 goalkeeper now, and he needs to be loaned out. He shouldn't be the reserve goalkeeper at his age. I mean, he can, but usually that role is reserved for a experienced, older goalkeeper, an older head who fits into the club as a Tom Heaton would, as a Ben Foster would. And there's no way that Tom McGill should be staying at the club. I'm not going to complain. He's at a great club, training with some amazing goalkeepers. That'll still help him on a weekly basis, but goalkeepers need to be playing first-team football. If he can get a loan to any club within the Championship, League One, it would be huge for his development. We all know goalkeepers don't hit their true pomp until they're sometimes 27 plus, even 29 plus. Tom McGill is still extremely young. There's no need to get worried about him not starting, and hopefully he can find himself a loan, because that is truly what he needs right now at his time and moment at his footballing career. So it's going to be very exciting to see if he can get a transfer or a loaned out late in this window. Guys, there was so many players in action, so many football games to talk about today throughout our men's national team. And let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. We just hit 160 subs. Let's see if we can get to 200 very soon, guys. I'm loving what you guys are saying in the comments down below. Keep hitting the comments down below and let me know what you guys think of all the players in action. And of course, let me know what you guys think of the daily uploads. It really means a lot when you guys let me know on what you guys really think of these new daily uploads and talking about all the latest news. It's a very new concept, and I really hope you guys are enjoying it because I am as well. So let me know what you guys think about the daily uploads and talking about all the latest news, transfers, and matches for the Canadian men's national team every single day. Drop a comment, hit that like button, and of course, smash that sub button. And I'll see you guys for the next one tomorrow. Peace.